Hello, and welcome to episode number 2 of My Trucking Life. Truth, Trucking, and Tribulations from the Trucker's Table. Well, we last left off in episode 1. I was working for my uncle when I was 16, hauling produce up to Columbus, Georgia, back and forth between there and Florida, driving for him. It was pretty cool. I always had a wad of cash in my pocket because everything was done by cash back then. There wasn't no debit cards and all that kind of stuff. So, fast forward to my senior year in high school, and I'm 17 years old. It's 1987, and we're almost to the end of football season. I played high school football, and my grandfather passed away. I was living with him at the time, and that really hit me hard, really hard. And he was my hero, my father, in every sense of the word, except for biological. He taught me everything about life, and I was only 17. When I was about 10, 11 years old, he taught me how to weld with electric welder, arc welding. He taught me how to farm, about farming stuff. He taught me about driving. He taught me, oh man, he taught me what it meant to give your word and keep your word. He taught me what it meant to be a man, to stand up for yourselves, to stand up for your family, even if it meant going against your family. And he did that for me. And he'll always be my hero. He'll always be everything, you know. He was a great man. He didn't drink. He smoked cigarettes, you know. But he never drank, you know, nothing like that. No kind of drugs or anything. And he was paralyzed when I was about 4 or 5 years old, left to die on an operating table. My uncle, the one who taught me about truck driving, the one that gave me my first job and everything else, he saved my grandfather. He rushed in, put oxygen on him. They got him to a better hospital. They was able to save his life. He was paralyzed from then on, from the waist down, but he could still get around with 2 walking canes and stuff. But he had a lot of surgeries after that. But he had a hard life growing up. But he was always my inspiration, my hero. So now I'm homeless, more or less. You know, my grandfather's passed away, and I don't have nowhere to live. So my mother, she's living in an apartment in Atlanta, and I'm not moving to Atlanta. My biological father, he lived about a mile or so down the road, so it made sense for me to go live with him till I could graduate high school, get a job, which is what I did. I graduated high school right around Memorial Day weekend, actually, and I'd already went and found a job. So when I graduated high school, we had Memorial Day weekend, and then right after Memorial Day weekend, the next day, I started work, and I've worked ever since. And my first job right out of high school, working in a shipping and receiving department, mostly shipping. So I learned how to drive a forklift. I learned how to load trailers, how to distribute the weight on the trailers. On the weekends, the guy that worked there that spotted the trailers up to the doors, his name was Tom. He was a really cool guy. He kind of took me under his wing, and he would let me drive we called it the Ottawa. That was the name of it. It was a little yard dog truck, basically what it was. Anyway, he let me drive that and practice backing up 18-wheeler trailers and all that kind of stuff. And so that's where I started learning, you know, the back trailers in and loading trailers and bill of ladings and shipping and weights and everything that you need to know about loading trailers and stuff like that. I learned all that on my first job out of high school. And I worked there for 3 years and lost my job there and kind of bounced around, did some things like bag groceries. I worked at a plywood mill. By the time I got the job at the plywood mill, I had already joined the Army and I was on the delayed entry program. So I had a few months before I could actually leave to go to basic training. So I worked for a few months over there at a plywood mill. That didn't work out. So I was unemployed for about 2 or 3 months before I went in the Army. And I was able to draw unemployment. So I did that and basically just concentrated on getting in shape to go in the Army. You know, I ran every night. I did push-ups, sit-ups, everything I could do to get ready. So I went in the Army. I went in as a 94 Bravo, which is a cook, and I came out as a 88 Mike, which is a truck driver. So when I went in, did my basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was supposed to go to Fort Lee to do my advanced individual training, my AIT training, but that got changed, and I ended up staying at Fort Jackson and did both my basic and my advanced individual training there to be a cook. So I got done with that, and right before we graduated from our advanced individual training, I found out where I was going to be stationed. All these wonderful places around the world I could be stationed. Where am I going to be stationed? Is it going to be Hawaii? Is it going to be Germany? Korea? Where am I going to be stationed? I can't wait to find out. I can't wait. I'm going to get to travel and go somewhere. Yeah, here's your duty station. You're stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia. Damn! I was born in Georgia. I want to go somewhere else. So I went to Fort Stewart. It was Labor Day weekend, 1992. And I was there maybe a year before all the stuff happened in Somalia, and we got sent to Somalia. 1993, I believe it was. And so I spent a little over 9 months in Somalia over there. I was part of the advanced team that went over after Black Hawk Down. If you ever see the movie Black Hawk Down, everything that happens, the helicopters get shot down. 2 days, 3 days later, we're on the ground over there to lend support, because I was in a tank unit. So we had the M1 Abrams, we had the Bradley fighting machines, we had all that stuff. And so we flew nonstop all the way over there from Hunter Army Airfield out of over by Savannah, Georgia. And spent some time over there, 9 months or so, and then we finally come back. And my hitch was finally up around 1995, and I got out of the Army, bounced around, did a few things. Well, let me go back. I said I went in as a cook and I came out as a truck driver. My main job, I did cooking things, don't get me wrong. I did the night baking, I did the morning cooking shift, the nighttime, cooking in the field. I did all that, right? But my main job that I did more than any of it was driving. I drove the supply trucks, hauling the food, the water, everything else. I did mostly that. And so when I got out of the Army, they needed to open up a spot to go ahead and bring in a cook while I'm transitioning out. So they had plenty of truck driver spots, which was 88 Mike. So they transitioned me over to an 88 Mike to make room to open up a slot to bring in a cook, a 94 Bravo. So on my thing, when I'm discharged out, it actually has me listed as a truck driver, it's 88 Mike. Even though I was not trained in the Army to be a specific truck driver, I was trained, to be a cook, but I also did the driving too. But anyway, so I get out of the Army and bounced around a little bit, did a few odd jobs, worked at a liquor store, worked at a parts warehouse, worked on a dredge boat. If you don't know what a dredge boat is, they dig up sand or dirt or whatever in rivers to make the rivers deeper, wider. They did some dredging. We did some dredging over in Destin to build the beach back up after the hurricane where all the sand got washed out. stuff like that. We did that. I did that for a few months, not too long. And finally I got a job working in a convenience store. And my cousin, who was a truck driver at the time, stopped by and saw me. He goes, "Hey man, you need to go check out this guy over here. He'll hire you, man. He'll hire just about anybody if you got a CDL." He said, "Just go get your learner's permit." So went and got my learner's permit and everything, and went over and filled out an application. Didn't think I was going to get the job. He said, "Can you pass piss test?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I can. I don't do drugs. I never have, never would, never will." So okay, well, we'll get you going. So that was my first CDL job, where I actually had a CDL, and that was with a company called Charles Patterson Trucking out of Kinston, Alabama, which is over near Opp, Alabama, between Sampson, Alabama, and Opp, Alabama. There's a little town called Kinston. I don't even think they have a red light. I think they just have a caution light. Really small town. But anyway, that was my first job, hauling frozen chicken to California and produce back to Florida. So we've made it up to my first CDL job. So I hope this sheds a little bit more light on everything. Episode 2. We're going to go ahead and cut it off here. I didn't want to go too long. I went a little over past what I wanted to. But I want to tell you all this stuff because I want you to understand what's going on. And I did skip over one thing, but I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll mention it in the next video. That it also helps explain a lot of stuff too that happened, that's going on with me now, went on with me back then, and everything else. So, but we'll talk about it in the other videos. It takes too long to get it out now. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you like the series we're doing. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, and I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for everybody that subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please, click on the subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll get a notification every time I upload a video, and you'll be able to watch it and stuff. I really do appreciate it. I hope y'all have a great night, great morning, great afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this video. So thank you, and stay safe.